Year 2, Lesson 4.2, Good Work in Action. The unit learning goal is that students will use the concepts covered this year to formulate goals and actions related to good work. And specifically in this lesson, students will be able to identify observable behaviors that exemplify doing good work in practice. As an assessment, you may review students' good work action cards for understanding of how to apply the concepts from this year's lessons. You can monitor the group discussion and the sorting of the good work action cards for awareness of how the concepts translate to real-world actions. And you can analyze the exit tickets for comprehension regarding how to turn the concepts into action and any potential challenge areas. The CASEL alignment is self-awareness and responsible decision-making. For their portfolios, students should be holding on to their Year 2 Lesson 4.2 exit ticket. For resources, you will need students completed Lesson 2.1 exit tickets who does good work. You'll also need some blank index cards, 4 per student, and some chart paper. So one page titled for each of the core concepts with a line continuum underneath. So the core concept name from not confident to very confident at the top. This is an example of what that poster should look like. And here is a list of all of the core concepts that were covered this year. You might need tape as well for placing the index cards underneath each heading. For the prerequisites, just as in the lesson 4.1, you're going to want to have completed all of the lessons from this year. In case it's been a while since your last class, take a look at the optional refresher. You can conduct a brief overview of each of the concepts listed above for this year of the lessons. That's listed above in this section up here, so that your students have a refresher of what you've completed and covered. They may want to look through their good work portfolio to see how their ideas have evolved. And prior to the start of the class, make sure that you've created the chart papers organizers for each of those core concepts and that you have them either already stationed around the classroom or that they're ready to go for when they're needed. So for your opener to the class, you'll ask students to think back about their mentors and role models from lesson 2.1 of this year of the lessons and remind them that their mentors and role models were people who exemplified good work in practice. If you have it available, have students take a look at the exit ticket from lesson 2.1 titled Who Does Good Work? We have a link to it here in case that helps. That said, maybe you didn't get to this lesson, or maybe there are students in the class who missed it. So if they can't remember that class or they weren't present for that lesson, it's okay. They can think of somebody right now in class about who might be someone who exemplifies good work. Have students turn to one another and partner to share their responses to a couple of questions. Who was your mentor or role model that you listed, and what are 2 actions that person took that made them a good worker? And next, you're going to introduce the activity of good work action cards. She'll tell students that today's lesson is all about turning the concepts from this year into actions that you may want to take in the months ahead. So we're going to have a chance to take a look at what was learned and then make it applicable to our daily lives by doing the good work action cards. Everyone will receive 4 index cards to write down 4 separate actions that they could start to do as good workers. And those can be related to one or more of the concepts that were covered this year. On each index card, students will write their name in the lower right-hand corner and then a 1-sentence good work related action that they would like to do in the center. The sentence that they write should not try to use the exact name of the concept that they're referencing. This is because you're going to shuffle the cards and deal them randomly out in the class and then try and sort them under the core concept headings. So you don't want to be too obvious when they're writing out the action so that people don't know exactly. You don't want to write the name of the concept on there. And they should try to use 4 different concepts in their actions and not the same concept on each card. So here are some examples that you can share with students of things that they might write on their cards. I want to ask my friends what principles are important to them in their lives, and that concept might be values. I want to talk to my coach about her path leading the team and what advice she might have for me to also lead the team, and that core concept would be role models. I will take the time on Fridays to look at what I did what I feel I did well and where there is room for improvement. And that could be either excellence or reflection. So once everybody has written down their 4 actions, collect all of the cards, shuffle them, and then deal them out randomly to the class so that everybody in the class receives 4 random cards. So they give you their 4 actions, and then they receive 4 action cards from all other students in the class. Then they will link up in pairs to review the cards and try to figure out which core concepts relate to each action item. And around the room, you'll have those various core concepts listed on the chart paper. So after discussing with a partner, they'll move around the room and try to sort their cards using taping them underneath each of the core concept headers according to what they believe the writer was thinking about when they wrote their action. They can use the continuum at the top to indicate how confident they are in placing that card, from not confident on the left to very confident on the right. Once all the cards have been sorted, as a class, you can walk around and look at the sorting together. You can look specifically for the cards that you wrote, the actions that you wrote, and notice if your card was incorrectly sorted under a core concept that you didn't intend. You can write a little star on it or make a little symbol on it. You can decide as a class what's the best thing to write on it. Once that's complete, you can have a conversation about the trends that you see in your action cards. So here is the step-by-steps of exactly how they will be going through and creating the cards. At the end of the class, you can have that full class debrief. And then finally, complete the closing and exit ticket, lesson 4.2 exit ticket, where students are going to answer the following question: which of the 4 behaviors on your good work action cards seem easiest for you to achieve, and which one might be the most challenging, and why? As an alternative, you can take a look at the good work bingo game with your students if you feel like this good work action cards isn't going to work for your class. And then as possible enrichments, you can check back in with one another next week when you're doing your Unit 4 self-assessment and see if anybody was able to implement any of their good work actions. You can also consider talking as a class about how to support one another in achieving their good work actions.